Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome. Hello, Sharon. It's always such a joy
Hello.
to be with you. And hello, Amma. Yeah, it's truly a pleasure for us to introduce Amma Lu to you. She's a sound healer, a miracle worker, and she shares her remembered gifts to help people awaken and rise to the state of their vibrational being. And I know that today we're going to be speaking about trauma healing, and we'll expand our understanding of resonance, harmonic field, pure tones, sound current for creation and regeneration. And welcome. I'm very excited to dive in with you.
Oh, wonderful to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
thank
yes,
you,
yes.
Amma.
Just before we started, we were speaking about your interest in the work of trauma healing through sound. And I was thinking, gosh, I wish we were recording, but here we are now. So I would love for us to introduce, for you to introduce us to where is your passion now? How do you see trauma healing and sound working together?
Oh, yes, they are best buddies.
I like that.
It's what I've come to find out, and I feel like I've come to find this out a little too late. Of course, that's not true, but it
Right.
sometimes feels like that, right, to our own ego. So the thing with our inner wounding, and I feel it's so relevant for so many people who are on the self-healing path, who are really waking up to more levels of themselves. uh, it this wake up process that we go through, you know, can it has the potential to really blow open our channels and our circuits of receiving. So we end up receiving more information, more insight, more divine intel, right? More divine light. That's really what's going on when we raise our frequency. We're truly just opening our hearts and our minds to what is truly possible, right? The infinite, the eternal. And that is a genuine spiritual awakening. And I see a lot of people, and this is, excuse me, my story as well. I started my self healing journey due to a spiritual awakening, due to finding myself being witness to great changes in my life. And it first started in my mind. I first started thinking things I never really thought of before, like, what is my purpose here? Is this 9 to 5 all that I'm here for? Yeah, I'm really successful at this. Yeah, I'm really good at achieving this, but I feel burnt out, right? I feel like I've succeeded, but for all the wrong reasons. And I feel just so empty inside my own soul. And what is that? What is a soul, right? Well, if I have a soul, then how does that apply? How does that belong to this life that I'm living? How does that apply to the future? How does that apply to my own health and wellness and to my dreams? And it was big questions like this that really had me start deeply investigating the spiritual path. And that led me into spontaneous healing experiences with incredible masterful healers, priestesses, monks. I traveled the whole world as part of my story of coming home to myself and learn how to heal myself. I was struggling with, at a very young age, debilitating heart condition, a thyroid problem, gut issues, talking about chronic illnesses. And so it really was a healing crisis that woke me up, so to speak, to the divine, and the eternal and the great mother.
And how
So
did you discover sound? Was sound something that you were passionate about? Was music something that you were passionate about? Or was
uh,
it along the journey?
it was along the journey. It was like a delightful surprise, actually. I was far more interested in energy medicine. That's really what took me places. I really wanted to, I honed in and worked with teachers who came to me on my path. They were all energy workers, masterful energy workers of different lineages, shamans and priestesses and monks, Tibetan energy workers, Taoist, Eastern philosophies, a lot of this nature. Um, And so I started in the energy medicine world, and it was because of the energy medicine being a highly purifying method of transmission, right? That this divine healing energy enters into you. It goes into your body, and what we do in energy medicine is we just trust it. Right? We trust the flow of that transmission. Then it starts to clear the things that are just are no longer serving you, right? That are really blocking your channels. And as a student going through this, I didn't know what was being cleared. I just accepted that it's time. It's time for my transformation. It's time for the new paradigm. It's time for this life that I want to live that truly honors my soul. And because that's what I'm committed to now. I did the rest, I did limitation and it hurt. I want to explore the other, like what's this new magical world? And so in my initiation to that new magical world, we had to clear things out. But at that time, I wasn't informed about what it is we're clearing. I wasn't informed about these deep wounds and pains, I just found myself spontaneously crying on the yoga mat. And I know a lot of people go through that. It's just spontaneous. And all those spontaneous clearings and healings led one day to the event that really changed my life. And it catapulted me into what I do today and my true purpose in life, which is to help people heal through sound. Now, sound is everything. So it just made sense to me as an energy medicine healer that, of course, it would be sound. Of course, the next evolution would be sound, And so what happened was I was in Bali. This is where I really initiated myself in my training. And I was a practicing Reiki master. And I love Reiki, okay? I don't use it today, but I loved it then because you don't have to say anything. You're not using the voice, right? You're not using sound. Maybe you play some Reiki music in the background during your session to help relax your client. But that's it in terms of sound, right? So I absolutely adored my Reiki healing practice because I got to use the gift of hands-on healing that I activated through my amazing mentors and teachers. And I remember one day being so clear, like really feeling my channel open. And my client was on the table, and he's been a long time client, and he told me, oh, this is going to be a good one today. And I said, okay, well, let's just trust and let it flow. And this is the essence. Okay, this is really the essence of energy work. So I start the session, and for the first time in a session, I feel a knocking on my head, as if an angel just came and was knocking on my door. And I said, okay, I acknowledge you. Hello. And this angel said, we want you to sing. And that startled me because I was voted the most quiet person in high school, guys.
It's funny.
The last thing I want to do is communicate, sing, use a voice. And all of that really deeply terrified me then. I was enormously blocked in my throat. And I was happy with keeping it that way. Okay. I was happy hiding behind a computer screen at the job that I really excelled at. I was happy being an energy worker because I didn't have to sing. So, to my surprise, here was the next level for me, and it was happening right now in a healing session where the integrity is high, where the standards are very high. When you're with a client, you must be present with them, for them. You don't allow any part of your own ego to interfere, because that can really interfere with the transmission, the purity of the transmission itself. And then we're starting to interfere with the healing. So this is what I've learned from my master healers. It's very high integrity to hold these sessions. So here I am, kind of in a bit of a moment where my ego is totally triggered, and all that personal ego me wants to do in that moment is hide, because this inner child of mine is absolutely terrified of using my voice. But that angelic presence, which is also me, that's the higher me, comforted me in that moment, knew I was going to be triggered. And I just felt like this okayness surround me, like, actually, this is your time. You know, you're here to trust. So we're asking you to trust even more right now for this client. And, you know, for us practitioners, it's so much easier to put your own stuff away, right?
Right.
Get out of your own way for another
True.
person, right? Like
Absolutely.
we're just so there for other people. It's look at moms, right? You're always going to be there for your child. It's like if your child is in trouble, in harm's way, something just lights up in you, and you will come forward with the strength of 100 gods out of nowhere. All this courage all of a sudden that you didn't know you really had, but you always had. But it's your child, you know, that brought it out of you.
Yeah.
And I found myself in a moment of like big mama energy, where I was all there for my client. I said, okay, my client, his healing is asking for a song. So I'm going to sing. And I found myself singing. I didn't know what I was going to sing, but I started with a tom, just something like this. And lo and behold, wow, I'll never forget this. This is so strong every time I revisit this memory. There, I heard another sound in the room sing with me. And it was the sound of a female voice. And I swear in my heart, it felt like Magdalene. It was this beautiful light pink presence of unconditional love that felt like this long lost sister that I would call Magdalene. And she came from, like, I could feel it distinctly from the left side of the room. Okay. And beautiful harmonic. So I, oh, and she went, oh, and the two tones weaved so perfectly together that they created in my mind's eye, I saw it, the double helix, double spiral of the DNA. And in that, in just surrendering and trusting, this profound trust and surrender to what was happening in the now moment, led me to the discovery for myself, for my own knowing, my inner knowing said to me, we are activating the DNA. And I just knew, I understood, even though I was never taught that. I was like, what do you mean we're activating the DNA? What does that even mean, right? No one's taught me this. What's going on here? This is exactly the level where I was at. No mental reference, just pure welling of guidance that was coming from my heart, not from any outside sources. And that was the moment I started to really pay attention to sound, to really, really pay attention to its power, its significance, and how it really wants to work in its nature, in its primordial nature, sound, which we commonly have used in artistry, right? We love to play with in the arts and in music, but this was different. This was sound for healing, and how our approach as facilitators, come to find out, we are an instrument ourselves, right? We have a voice. And this instrument that we are wishes to be finely attuned to the divine instrument, the divine sound. They want to reflect each other. They want to merge and become as one beautiful sound, one harmony. And our approach to that as human beings, okay, as people with soul, really, really matters. And I started to just get that in that one session, in that one initiation to sound that heals. And by the way, it had a profound impact on my client. I mean, I ended up singing through the rest of the session. I just, you know, the assignment was to just surrender and let it roll. And I ended up channeling for the very first time this beautiful sound coming from my heart. And yeah, there were moments where my voice, moaned and cracked and it didn't sound so good, but that was it clearing. And this gorgeous, pure, organic transmission came out, and my client reveled in it. He was going through many kriyas, which is this uncontrollable movements in the body when it's responding to healing of trauma. Okay. He was letting go of untold amounts of trauma. And we're talking about multidimensional levels as well, because we start accessing multidimensional levels, realms, like past lives. Okay. That's an example of going multidimensionally. But other lives too, maybe off-planet lives, galactic selves, this stuff. We have many aspects. And, at this time, I wasn't in my clairvoyance. I couldn't see what was going on, but I could feel and I could innately understand inside my own self, empathically, that my client was purging on so many levels that it looked like the story, a 3D story of hurt and wounding here, right, with this person, and then what they did, and what happened here on Earth in this story, in this lifetime. But really, it had deeper connections and tendrils to a past life that was off planet. And so the first time I'm seeing that piece of information, knowing it deeply in my soul and going, wow, when we come into true, profound love and trust like this, when we can truly feel safe to unwind and unfurl these deep inner woundings, no matter what they are and where they come from, man, can they really come out. They can really come out in the presence of love, in the sound of love. And that's what I was learning firsthand when I was just allowing this song to be sung out to my beautiful client here. It felt like the Divine Mother itself was singing him home. That's what it felt like. And I was afraid of claiming that. I was really afraid of saying, I think that was the Divine Mother bringing you home. I was so terrified of that because I didn't know what that would mean. But that's what it felt like in my heart. And funny enough, he came out of that session going, okay, that was the most profound thing I ever experienced. I felt all this trauma go. I feel like a brand new person. He felt his body had shifted out of chronic disease. And he told me, he said, I felt like the Divine Mother just brought me home.
Wow.
So you see, we this mind here, this ego self doesn't need to know anything. What's important is that we come in full heart, and that heart can actually lead us. We allow that heart to lead us and to teach us. It's our greatest teacher. When that heart connects to the greater heart, the great cosmic heart of Divine Mother, Divine Father, our divine source, then true healing can really happen through our divine instrument, right? This voice, this being, this presence. And it's these sacred instruments. I'll show you now these crystal bowls that I use.
Beautiful.
They love that. They want us to, in a funny way, be just like them, They're like, you are us. You are the crystal. Like, here's how you sing, right? Here's how you be. Here's how to be, to really emanate this unconditional love that we emanate, and how we create the field of harmony and love unconditionally. So these deep, dark traumas can really have a chance to be met and let go of. And that is the profound possibility with sound today that I continue to explore. It's been 12 years now. I've been doing this professionally. And here's my little kitty.
Hi.
Join.
So cute.
This is the possibility of sound that keeps, it keeps me active. It keeps me going in this beautiful profession and purpose in service to the world. There are so many woundings that we don't even know about, that we have. And it's time for them to come home. It's time for them to be liberated, to be felt, to be processed, and to be let go, because it's these deep, deep woundings that we don't like to talk about, that we don't like to face, right?
Right.
It's these woundings that are really holding us back. from that magical paradigm, that new life that we all deserve and that we all have access to, no matter what we're going through and how dark it might be. We all have the light of hope that is calling to us, that is calling us forward home, to truly be at home in ourselves. So I'm grateful to sound. I'm grateful to sound being its magical teacher to me every day. Through trust and surrender, I am learning something new from working with this method.
Oh, so do you find that you have two questions? Do you find they have different beings come for each person? Because I do in my sessions, different, like you had Mary Magdalene. Do you have, you've probably experienced many more. I'll let you answer that.
Oh, yes. And this is another fun part about sound healing. This is the, again, profound level of trust when we start opening these portals through creating the sound fields. They are going to, now I will preface this by saying, with the intention, right? When you come into ceremony, sacred intention setting with your client, that we only call in the highest and best energies that are really facilitating their healing and their liberation, nothing less, right? So when we call that in and then we start to play the sound opens these doors, they open portals. And they're not opening portals up there, okay? They're not opening portals to beings that exist outside of us. They're actually opening portals in here, in the body, in the heart, or in the liver if that's congested, in the mind, in the throat. And these direct portals are to the divine, right? To the greater mind that we are. So yes, it's whoever is in the group or whoever is in the one-on-one session, we're really asking their higher selves to come through these portals to help heal this body, this mind, this heart of whatever is requiring the greatest healing, greatest assistance at this time. So yeah, there's really cool beings that we meet, like galactic beings, Arcturians. I've met several Arcturians lately. Angelic beings, guardians, dragons. Oh my gosh, these celestial dragons are just amazing, truly amazing for clearing a lot of negative, like really like hard negative stuff, and especially things along the lines of psychic attacks and that sort of negative stuff. The dragons are amazing for that. Ooh, strong guardians and protectors. Yeah, there's, again, we have many aspects to us. And this is the way I see it now. Sound has taught me that it's all one. It's all you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure Mira can testify to that, doing past lives. And I know that when I do my healings too, I see so many different aspects of the person in front of me, and they all come. We always bring it, and I'm sure you both know that we always bring it here to this lifetime to heal. So even though it could look different than what it was in a different lifetime, it shows up in the same way inside of us. So we need to heal that before we can.
Yeah, that's well said. Everything's happening in the now, even though it's relevant in the past or relevant in another space. Come here, sweetie.
She wants to say something.
She is, yeah, she is. That it actually is coming up forward for us, and maybe it shows up in a situation, in a relationship, in whatever is happening in your reality. It's there for your healing, and it's showing up right now because it wishes to be seen and truly processed and released, you see. And there's many ways, and healing is a massive realm. there's many frequencies that want to work with us in order to heal that specific thing. Okay, there's many specific things, there's many woundings, and they all require a different a set of healing frequencies to really bring that to peace. And healing frequencies, I'm really speaking to a deeper level. For example, forgiveness, that is a healing frequency that will be needed if we're dealing with, for example, the betrayal wound, right? The betrayal wound. Feeling like life is unfair, feeling like things just never, you try, but it never ever pans out. So there's a great deal of forgiveness there that needs to be applied and perhaps reapplied. And we just saturate ourselves in that field, that sound of forgiveness for a while. And that's where the transformation will happen.
So cool. I also have to give a lot of forgiveness, but I do it through meditations, and I'm sure that sound is extremely powerful to take someone to really be in the place where they can forgive. Because,
Yes.
you know how many people have such woundings that it's hard to bring themselves to really forgive the transgressor or whatever it is. So I'm sure sound is an amazing help to that.
Yeah, yes, indeed. The mind, its function, it's what it's really good at is protecting us. And we need that protector. That is what the ego, that's its gift. So when we say, right time, right place, that's due to the ego. The ego's that right time, right place. That's all the world of time and place is the world of mind. Okay. And that's the individual mind. When we start to enter the greater mind, the galactic, divine, higher mind that you also are, this is where the healing, profound healing will start to happen. And we do have to meet our, like, for example, betrayal woundings or hurt inner child or ice queens, anger, or whatever it might be, that is blocking our higher selves from really also playing in this game with us, with the ego. And when they start playing together, woo-hoo-hoo, I mean, that's where magic really starts to happen. That's where you can really manifest in your life. But the ego itself has a very important job, and that is to protect us. So when you want something really bad, like you want that healing and you want that transformation, and you try and it just doesn't seem to to land for you or to work, it's not because of anything you're doing wrong, even though your ego might say, oh, you did something wrong, right? Or, oh, you're not trying hard enough, or it's the practitioner's fault, or you need more money because you need or whatever it is. Like, this is all protection. Okay, that's the language of protection. Especially the I can't, right? That's definitely the protector there. So just recognize that your ego is, at work here to perhaps bring you into the right time, right place for that great big transformation you're wanting. I feel like the bigger the ask, maybe more patience is required, because there's some learning there that the soul needs to go through in order for you to really come into a readiness to receive in what you're asking for. This is just something that I've come to learn and accept with myself and with clients as well. So often we want to rush our consciousness, and that really deeply comes from our culture that we were born into, like fast food, fast food culture.
Yeah.
And consciousness is not fast food. So do not work like that, or you're dealing, wake up spiritually, spirit. It means you must let spirit lead. So you will receive exactly what you're asking for. Just know that the ego is also at play. And we also get to determine just how much we want that ego to be at play. Like when you really wake up to your protector and you see that, oh, I'm just trying to preserve myself. I'm actually just trying to keep myself safe, when really I am ready. I am ready for, taking a risk and opening myself up to a new level of healing and understanding.
Right.
That's the magic attitude that sound and any kind of energy work, meditation, anything that can bring you into deep, profound presence with yourself. That's when it can actually start working for us, when we're truly ready, willing to go that deep.
Right. So yeah, I do find that I need to many times speak to the ego and maybe give it a different job, which is a procedure. It takes time, like you said. And the other thing is, does the inner child come up? Because I would feel that that's something that will get in the way of someone healing, right? Mira, do you have that? Yeah, the inner child. So do you have that show up?
I would say it's 80%. 80% of what we find in the group work and the session work and this work of healing, from my perspective and experience, 80% of it is inner child. So we can't escape
Yeah.
that little one. That
Right.
little one. So much to say. It has so much that it hasn't processed yet and felt, and it's just waiting for the space where it could be deeply held in unconditional love. Again, that's the safest place to be. The safest place to be is in unconditional love. It's not in what we may have been taught, right? Like money. We tend to think money is safe, and it's our security. So we keep working really hard for it. Actually, it's not the safest place to be, right? The safest place to be is in healing our greatest wounds and thoughts about scarcity and lack and survival, that we actually start to feel our inner riches and abundance from within. And then that abundance within that we resurrected then starts to reflect in our outside world as external riches. You see, this is, it's a whole flip. The world flips completely when we really start the self-healing path. We really start caring and valuing our healing process, and we're willing to take a risk and go deep within to resurrect what is true, what is organically pure and true in our nature. And the only place to do that is in unconditional love. So you see, the inner child knows this, and that's why the inner child speaks to your ego and says, we're pulling back the reins. Hold on. This is it. Right? We're not going all the way just yet. Right time, right place. There is a frequency your inner child is looking for, and it requires. And so just know that there might be a reason for that protection mechanism that comes up. And so us being able to be wise, being able to be loving to ourselves, right? We would exactly be doing what you just said, Sharon, talk to our ego. When we talk to our ego, we're actually talking to that inner child. And that's the subconscious, by the way. That's the subconscious realm. The inner child is your subconscious mind. It controls 80% of our reality. And so when we start talking to our inner child, you know, things can really blossom quite gently and purposefully, you know, intentionally, consciously, and you work one-on-one with that inner child, so it can relax and it can bring you into alignment with that frequency you're needing. Okay, that right there, what do we call that? That's synchronicity, right? That's synchronicity, and we create it. We completely create it. It's not something that's happening outside of us. It's not that. We are truly creating it all. So deep realization there. That is, you know, it takes some inner work to really get to that realization. And I know a lot of people can get triggered when they hear that, but we will get there. We're going to realize that, oh, we are this powerful. My inner child is this powerful, right? The inner child is truly the golden key to our liberation, not just our creation, not just our ability to manifest. It's for our liberation. Yes. I love that. I love that you brought that in.
Yeah, thank you. And one more thing is, when you bring people, unconditional love is very hard to sustain the frequency in this plane, right? Let's be realistic. Very hard. I mean, I could be in that place in my heart when I'm with a client, but how do you find that? Do you have a sound that you could bring them, like an instrument that you know that this can bring them inside of themselves to a place where they allow that unconditional love, or is it different for each of them?
Oh, yes, it is case by case, you know. So there is no, I know as sound healers, we're looking for that master frequency, you know, where's that God frequency? And there's absolutely things we can do. Like we can create theta. We can create the theta wave by utilizing two crystal bowls that have an octave shift in them. We can create a theta brainwave, and that entrains the brainwave of your clients into theta. That makes it much easier for them to surrender. Okay, so you can work with the brainwave method for sure. Is that guaranteed to induce them into the heart? No, absolutely not. And that's because the heart that's that inner child. Okay, this is the realm of the inner child. Your inner child's in charge of your heart, and that heart has requirements. It has needs, and it wants to be honored. It wants to be respected. It wants to be acknowledged. So when we're dealing with really deep inner pain around the heart, we don't want to force that. We don't want to induce anything. We actually want to change our approach as practitioners and come from unconditional love ourselves. So you become a safe space. You really become the safe sound, and it starts with you, you know. Then the bowls really help assist. The song now, if you want the my experience with how I do this, first of all, I've learned directly from my divine team, my divine family, and the mother. She says, well, you need to embody it, right? You're here to embody it all the way. You're not just here to wake up fully. You're here to embody that which we're teaching you, you know, to be it, and to surrender the identity that you're anything less. And so I do help a lot of healers with this. I help them put their crown on and let go of this identity that you're just, you know, one thing, and you need to live this mediocre life. No, you're actually here for greatness, and there is a greatness to embody. There is a royalty, remarkable frequency that you are. Your higher self is here to embody that magic. So we are here to embody as sound healers ourselves. The more that we embody, that means we heal. Okay, the more that we heal our deep inner woundings, the more we're able to hold that space of unconditional love, and to do that more automatically every time. You see, so you're not preparing yourself. You're not like using a technique to get yourself into that mode, into that zone. It doesn't become a zone anymore. It really does become your frequency, and that is the highest goal. But it is also the great potential of us. And so this is what, you know, I'm constantly promoting and guiding those who are ready in my Love Rising Academy. That's the school that I have for healers, that where I mentor. So our embodiment process is huge. It's vital to our ability to help others heal, as well as help the world heal, because we're also part of that greater mission.
Does it help you embody this energy simply by the name Amma? Because as I was looking for information on you, as we were thinking of inviting you to join us in this event, I saw that your legal name is Jamie. Did I remember that right? Yeah. And so I wonder if even the name allows you to hold that frequency that much more. And also, I wonder, what are your thoughts in general on the names we call ourselves and all of that?
Well, it's a beautiful question. Thank you. Because this is something I personally, in my personal story, just went through. So that maybe that's why you're like, oh, I can't find anything from Amma Lou. You're going to find it under Jamie Lou. So the embodiment process is for me, wow, such a deep and wild ride, and indeed something that is still happening through me, for me, as I get to know what is me. Okay, and it's meant to be, you know, your lifelong journey. It's this beautiful long journey. We want it to be long. We want it to be luscious. We want to take our time with this. Okay, this is not, again, fast food. And so just recently, I think it was about maybe 6 months ago, it was a dear client of mine who said, you know, you don't feel like a Jamie to me. Jamie is very androgynous, and you're just so, you teach the feminine principles. You really, you speak from the mother, and you give her a voice. And I'm reconnecting so much with my feminine because of you. And to me, you're the Amma. And she said that to me, and I was like, immediately felt my self-preservation, my fear trigger. And I said, oh, no, please don't call me that. Don't, I'm not anything special, and this is, my name is Jamie, and I'm quite happy with my name. And indeed, okay, our birth name holds a lot of significance. There's really nothing wrong with our birth names. And I see a lot of people, especially here in the spiritual communities, how quickly they wish to change their name because they're trying to escape. I'm sorry to say this, but we want to pay attention and really pay attention to what energy we're coming from whenever we take a really big decision like this with changing our name, for example. Too often do I find that when a name change occurs, it's to escape the humanness that we are. And when there's actually something really profound and beautiful and significant with the name John, or the name Jamie, or the name Sarah, like it does hold a significance, and we just need to find out what that is first. And so I love my birth name, Jamie Lou. I know exactly, what that's about. Jamie is the messenger of God. There's a biblical reference to it. It connects in with Jesus. It connects in with James. My father often called me James growing up as a child, and I had to heal through a lot of this masculinity stuff with that. So it brought me, actually, my birth name brings me very close to the Christos energy, to the Christed spirit that is beyond dogma. It's beyond religion itself, but the true relationship with Christ and Magdalene. So yeah, I quite love my name. I've come to love it. I've come to deeply accept it and own it. And Lu means light, so it's messenger of light is really what I've come to understand Jamie Lu is. But my client really opened and expanded me into my next level, where I had a lot of resistance and fear in myself. And I knew, wow, I have so much fear here, and I'm hiding, and I'm really playing small here. And I know that this message of love and sound is meant to be carried throughout the whole cosmos. This is a big message, and I'm here for big things. And I know my energy is big, and my mission here is big. So, and I am a mom. I feel like a mom. I'm such a mother. This is the way that I am to my clients and my community. So all she was doing was just reflecting to me who I am and what I was afraid to see. And so playfully I said, hey, that's a cool name. let's go with that. I did not negate my own birth name at all. I still call myself Jamie. People still call myself Jamie. I still respond to that. It's not this escape from my humanity at all. It is an addition, a playfulness. And yes, I noticed that our names do carry a vibration. And when I started to call myself Amma, thanks to this client, I accepted her gift, basically. Sometimes hard to accept gifts. I started to accept and receive her gift. And it did really significantly bring this incredible shift in my life and in my frequency and how I hold this work and these incredible beings that come into this space. So yeah, I absolutely love Amma. I love it. I love all the mothers who are here representing the feminine energy. I love this frequency. I know in my heart that it's leading this change. It's leading the healing in this planet, but it's also leading the evolution of our consciousness. The divine feminine is really at the helm of this change. And so she holds so much for humanity and is going through so much growth herself for humanity. And yeah, I'm at loss for really that force of nature that is bringing us home and is guiding us into the heart with the Father, with the masculine. Absolutely. She's a great teacher of love.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Is there anything you would love to lead us into as something that is on your heart as conclusion remarks, but also if you would like to share how it's best for people to connect with you and work with you?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I have many offerings. So at many levels. So it's if you like to connect with me and come into one of my group healing sessions, I offer a group every month. That's something that I love doing for my community. There's also retreats that the Great Mother really wishes for me to get back into. Ever since COVID era, we had to stop running the retreats. And now we're kickstarting it again. We're relaunching the retreats. And this is really important. And this speaks to the healers who are already on the path, and they're wanting further activation. They're wanting their gifts to be fully realized and embodied. They're wanting their higher self to be realized and embodied. What we do is we work with the earth. We work with Earth Mother, Pachamama. Not through plant medicine. We work with the sound medicine, okay? And the sound medicine is actually an alternative to the plant medicine, but they're very, what is it? They're buddies. They're the same. They're the same wisdom, great wisdom, especially the feminine wisdom, the divine mother wisdom, loves to come through sound. And that's why if you do sit in plant medicine ceremonies, you're going to see that the shamans use sound to guide you into these other realms, these deeper realms of yourself. So we just purely use the sound. I know how to use it. I've been instructed and guided by spirit, how to use the crystal bowls to put them on the earth at sacred sites, where we activate the field, and in which it's like a plant medicine journey. We actually go through incredible visions and experiences within ourselves, just through the power of sound alone, and accessing the mother directly through sound. It's a beautiful process, and it really helps activate our next level of service for the world, which also, I will say this, since it's important, it contains within that our prosperity, okay? So our next level of service, our embodiment, that's where you're going to find your prosperity. That's where you're going to activate that new earth prosperity. It's not through hustling, okay? It's not, really isn't through any 3D world means. It's actually by fully trusting and letting go into the new magical realm. And God's going to support you. God's going to hold you when you do God's work. So doing God's work, that's something that I love bringing healers through, and that's through our retreats. The Love Rising Academy is the school where I do train sound healers, many levels 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm also teaching now teachers, so that I have some cohorts on this mission with me where you could teach and lead others in these retreats as well.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much, Amma, for all of your wisdom that you've shared with us, and your voice is like, I just want to be, it's like the mother that lulls the kids to, to relax. That's what your voice represents to me. Thank you so much for everything.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Sharon and Mira. It feels like a beautiful coming home to sisters. And I'm just so in profound respect to you both, and the work that you're doing, and the message that you're bringing out to a lot of people. I really thank you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of the day, and thank you for being with us.
Thanks so
You
much.
too. Many blessings.
Many blessings. Bye.